And this is my first attempt to bring together the commonalities that I see between Tao Te Ching, Bhagavad Gita, and the Gospel of John. Okay. I'm trying to look at it at a very high level. This is my personal view, and I'm going to do a full meetup on it. This is part of my learning, folks. I'm not familiar with any of these. These are all new to me. The oldest one for me is Tao Te Ching, which is like 4 or 5 months old. And the newest one is Bhagavad Gita, which is only about a month or 2 old. Gospel of John is somewhere in between. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick my neck out, because that's the way I learn, of trying to formulate things in words where I can speak to people and hear what they say. And I'm going to give you a preview right now. So the official meetup is over. So this is going to be about my take on thinking about commonalities. The way I'm going to do it now is I'm going to do it very quickly, and I'm going to do it in an impressionistic way. What I will do is that over the next 2.5 days, I will prepare, and I will try to make it clearer to people. Okay, but I want to present it to you in an impressionistic way now. Okay, so I'm going to start with the diagram. Give me just a second here. Okay, so this is my summary. Okay, as you can see, there are 2 circles here. So focus only on the first circle here. I will bring in the second circle. I'm going to give you the overview here. Okay. So first, so just look at this circle at the top. Okay. The star here is the spirit, and the green over here is the matter. Okay. So this is God. This is the word. Okay, this is the Tao. This is 10,000 things. This is Purusha in Bhagavad Gita. This is Prakriti. These are various ways. So these are the 3 different formulations. God actually loves the world. So there is an affinity that Purusha has for the Prakriti, that because it's his own expression. The Tao is the father of the 10,000 things. So there is that little bit at the heart of God. Similarly, the world is driven by the spirit. That is, it is at the core. You may not see it. You may be over here. You may not know it, but it is there. Okay, so that is the point in between here. Okay, so these things are metaphysical. This is what is. That there is an efficient cause, which is the spirit, efficient cause, and there is a material cause in Aristotle's terms. The efficient cause shapes the material cause. The material cause is shaped by this, by the efficient cause. So those are these 2. Okay. Next, what are these red and blue? Those are the movements. See, these are just what is. What the blue is something that is actually helping the world get to God. So this is Jesus showing the world the path to God. So this is showing how you become more ordered, more focused. There is this in you, but you are making it more so. You're making spirit the primary. And that is what Jesus is trying to do. This is that blue path over there. It is word. It is explicit. It is inductive. It is trying to bring together things that you know about the physical world. Science is like this. It is trying to induce. It is trying to say, what is the heart of this? What is the ruling principle of everything that I'm seeing? So that's what the blue is doing. What the red is doing is grace. It is expression. It is the love that God has for the world. It is the expression of the Spirit in its, it's kind of enveloping the world. It is kind of coming down. It is God coming down on earth that we talked about in Savitri. Now, these are two different movements, going up and going down. In the beauty of this is that Tao Te Ching and the Chinese thought is all about this. It's very natural. This is the yang pushing towards the order, and this is the yin, which is gentle and expressive and loving. This is hard. This is soft. So in Chinese thought, the dance between these is very natural. So Tao Te Ching is superb. At the same time, so the way in which, number 25 in Tao Te Ching summarizes it is that there are four greatnesses in the world. There is the Tao. Tao is here. Okay. There is the heaven, which is the yang, which is here, the blue. There is yin, which is the earth, and there is man. Man is here. So these are the four greatnesses. So it is this axis between man and Tao. So you in the physical sense and Tao. And in order to actually do this, you have to do both yang and yin, and there has to be a balance in both of them. That's how Tao looks at it. Okay. Now, the Indian thought. So far I've talked about, I want to point out that the Western thought is very much yang oriented. Jesus is taking us from the world towards God. There is things coming down, but those are not emphasized. This is the grace of God. This is the love God has for the world. But that is there as a minor point. It's not as, mostly it is about this movement. Western thought is mostly yang. The Indian thought too is like this. Bhagavad Gita is mostly about the world and the Purusha and yoga of going here. That is why what we have done with Savitri is exceptional. Because if you remember Nilesh's presentation, you can look up this on 52 Living Ideas YouTube channel if you search for Savitri. Savitri is this. So Savitri's father, Ashwapati, does his yoga is the yang yoga. It is all about raising the energy, the physical energy, in order to reach out to the sun god. And what does come out from the sun god as a result of that? And that is Savitri. Savitri is bringing the grace of heaven to earth, creating heaven on earth. So that is this part of it. Now, I want to go to the next point, and that is about what are these two circles doing? And this comes, I got this from the Bhagavad Gita, but it is a profound point. The Bhagavad Gita holds, the Indian thought holds, is that you have the divine within you, and each person has the divine within them. So spirit, there is spirit in the world, there is divine, but you have a spark of divine within you. So now imagine you standing and holding this, holding this like this, whereas you are standing right here. And this star is right in your heart. That's where it is. This is a divine in you. Okay? Your expression in physical terms is your love for this world. And what you're creating green here is the physical context. It is reality. It is your shaping this physical context. So this is again what I've said before. I've said nothing new. Now the new part is that when you are interacting with other people, they have the divine within them. And that profound respect for other persons, core consciousness, spirit, freedom, that is all about saying this. When you say namaste, you're saying the God in me greets the God in you. That is the idea of, it is a core idea of Indian philosophy. It is the same idea that Jesus is talking about. He's saying that when he starts in John 13 onwards, when he starts washing the feet of his disciples, what is he doing? He's saying that the love that exists, reciprocal love between father and son, he's saying, I feel the same love for you, and I want you to love one another like I'm loving you, and like the Father loves me, and like I love the Father. So that is this interaction between two spirits. And it is done through this, through the physical, through the words that we speak, through our writings, through our works. And that gives works the spirit. So this is work. This is the spirit. And that is what actually connects these two. Now, I've just run through this very quickly, and it's very impressionistic, but I'm planning to spend the next 2 days trying to explicate this, and try to make it clear. So that's what we're going to do at 2 o'clock this Sunday. I'm going to try to make this clear. So that's my thought. So I welcome any comments. Go ahead and type an exclamation mark or raise your hand if you have any comments. Most of the questions you're welcome to ask questions, but most of the questions I will handle on Sunday, but I want to hear what you have to say. And I will use whatever comments you have, whatever questions you have I'll listen very closely and try to address all of them fully. Let's start with Evanik. Evanik, what do you think?
I think this is amazing, and I'm looking forward to Sunday. It is very deep, and I like how you explained it tonight, with the Gita, the Bible, and the Tao Te Ching, and all the different ways that they interact, and their similarities as well as their differences. And I especially like the blue, where you were talking about that's the spirit going into, and I don't know if I have this right, but the spirit, like this is like Jesus showing us the way.
Yes.
And so yeah, I'm really looking forward to it and going more in depth. So thank you for doing this.
Thank you, Evanik. Next up is David, followed by Ambika. David, go ahead.
Hey, number one, I got a question, and then the second thing, I'd like to make a comment. Okay.
Sure.
The question I have concerns a word that I seen in one of your, meetup things. It's called avatarhood.
Let's not go too far because we are not talking. Just any comments directly on this. Go ahead.
Okay, that was my question. Okay. My comment on this here, regarding this here about the divine being in each one of us, I truly believe that's so. And the thing is, really, what I've learned about that divine living within each one of us, I've learned more from the Gospel of Mary, because it sort of really goes into that sort of thing. And the conflict that a person has with that inner divine, it identifies the divine as being the soul. And the thing is, the soul is sort of stopped from being divine by ignorance, and how our own ignorance, because we aren't willing to take and actually search for the realities of life, stops us and creates a blindness and a death into our own being, and becomes our own wrath, to prevent the divine from within inside of us from coming out.
Wonderful. So let me address both the points. The first point is that avatar is simply like the avatar idea in Hinduism is saying that whenever the spirit feels that this world has become too far away from it, it actually, just like Jesus is 100% God, 100% man, he sends down an avatar, which is 100% God, 100% man, in order to move the world towards itself and destroy things which are taking it away from it. So that is, it's very similar to that. The second point go ahead.
Is this a part of I don't know, one of these other, I don't know if you want to call them religions or whatever?
It's part of Hinduism.
Hinduism.
Part of Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that's the third work that we are studying.
This goes back into the origination of Hinduism?
Yes, this is Hinduism.
Okay, the reason I ask is I live here in Altamont Springs, and there's a guy around the corner.
Sure, that's fine. No, let's not go into the minor things, but absolutely, this is a core part of Hinduism. Yeah. The idea of rebirths, also of, not only of human beings, but of God. Mm-hmm. And for the same purpose, it's like, Krishna, we're studying Bhagavad Gita. He's saying, I come on earth, like God comes on earth in order to move the world towards it. Yeah, I love the world so much that I want it to be like me. And
but Krishna is different than Hinduism, right?
Krishna is a core, one of the core gods. He's a avatar of Vishnu, and that's core part of Hinduism. Thank you. Next up is going to be Ambika.
So this, what you just created is, as I said here, it's really luminous and beautiful, and it's vibrating. I feel it vibrating, and there's also the spirals in this. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of this, Shrikant.
Thank you. Thank you. So that's going to be on Sunday. All right, folks, if anybody else has comments, you're welcome to type exclamation mark. Otherwise, we'll call it a day. Joe, what do you think?
I mean, I think it's amazing as well. And the story that actually seems to bring everything home to me is the story of Salvatry. And I can kind of see that very closely linked with the Tao and that relationship and just that whole story, the whole dynamic of it. I think that would be a really important part of Sunday's meetup. And should be maybe focused on a little bit more. And if people have an opportunity to go and watch the video from Sunday, from Sunday, they should.
Yes, I would. So I would say a couple of things. I want to also build on one of the observations that David had made about the Gospel of Mary. The thing that is actually missing from the Western thought and a lot of Indian thought is the female element. That's what Mary brings in. That's what Savitri brings in. And it's not the standard part of Indian thought. And it is crucial, whereas it is a standard part of the Chinese thought. The yin yang automatically is about the female and the male interacting with one another. So the Western world or Indian world focuses on this movement of moving from the physical world to the spiritual. But it's one directional largely. The other part of bringing the spiritual down to earth and making the physical world divine, that is a crucial part of the cycle. It is there implicitly everywhere. You know, it is the grace of God. It is the fact that God loves the world. All of that is there. But when you look at the entire corpus, it is dominated by the yang. It is more yang and not enough yin. And the greatness of Sri Aurobindo is that he brings that in, and he brings that in spades. The second part is, though the Chinese element gets these two, yin and yang, they don't get these parts as clearly. Like Dao De Jing actually gets the Dao and the 10,000 things. But the Chinese thought, like most of it, the I Ching or Confucianism again becomes very much of a yang without enough yin. So the Chinese thought doesn't have the kind of the crisp, powerful capturing of the spirit that the West has, like what we're talking here about Gospel of John, or what we're talking about in Bhagavad Gita of Atma and Brahma, which is really a tremendous focus on this. So that is very much the achievement of India and the West. So the important thing is to kind of embrace this entire thing. And this interaction between people is a completely, you know, it is also a very profound thing because what it does is that by saying that you are actually interacting with people at this deeper level, it raises the standard of what this green needs to be, what your words need to be, what your writing needs to be, what your works need to be, what these meetups need to be. Okay, it is raising the standard. It is saying, look, I respect the God in you. I respect your spirit. Let us do something which does justice to that. That is the level at which, you know, just putting these two stars demands of this, the work. Next up is Dave. Dave, go ahead.
Thanks, my friend Shrikant. A couple of things quickly. the way I see it, Jesus is inside of me, but also Satan. My problem with my Christian friends is Satan's over there in the other side of the room, and he's causing all this trouble. No, Satan's right here. But the other thing is I believe in Carl Rogers, and I like your point. If I converse with another person, I can heal them. But I'd like to suggest I also heal myself. And I thank you greatly, my friend Shikant, for providing this platform. We all converse. Thank you, and have a great evening and a merry, happy everything.
Thank you, Dave. Absolutely. I mean, both the points are great points. See, this is you. You have a God in you, and when you go away from this, see, when the physical things are manifestation of the spirit, it is the Aristotelian one, and that is divine, 100% God, 100% man at the same time. When you focus on just this and turn away from the core, that is what sin is about. That is what kind of going away from this core is about. And the point about Carl Rogers is a fantastic point. That is absolutely true. This is actually the diagram of the relationship between this and this is what he calls authentic relating. But authentic relating, look at the demand it puts on you. In one way, it is very simple. It is simply acknowledging the spirit in other people. But then you have to live up to it. So you have to look at the words that you're using, the interaction that you're using, and make sure that it actually captures the spirit. You have to take your highest spiritual thing that you have and be able to express it in physical things so that people can see the spirit. So you have to do the work of conversion between concrete to abstract, from physical to spiritual, and then from spiritual to physical, to concepts to concretes. That's what this interaction is. So you have to go through this blue. You have to be good at doing the blue. You have to be good at doing the red. And you have to be doing that because fundamentally, this is within you. This is within each of us. It is inalienable. It is something that is just yours. My spirit is mine. Your spirit is yours. It is a profound achievement to be able to produce something in between through which we can actually communicate. So that's what it is. So thank you very much for this initial feedback. And I look forward to seeing you on Sunday, this Sunday. And thank you very much, everybody. Good night, everybody. Bye.